Hey, happy Saturday. It's Bree, and today we have my 2019 sketchbook, my big one. I have two of them, so you'll probably see a small one tomorrow, but today's is, of course, a Canson XL Mixed Media. I think this is the 12 by 9, and it's covered with plenty of artist stickers that if I need to, I will put them down in the description. If I haven't, please leave a comment because sometimes I forget. So this started at the end of 2018 and lasted till August that year of the following year. So I started with some doodles because I was rereading ACOTAR at the time, and I was playing with some like new ink pens and whatnot, like Christmas stuff, I think, at the time. And I wasn't really fully using this journal. Like, it was like a miscellaneous sketchbook that kind of got left on the shelf for a while, which is why you don't see any mermaids up until like around this time. And I used it as a swatch book because it's so big. I didn't take it a lot of places. So once I started buying supplies, I got this iridescent emerald ink from Dr. P.H. Martin's. I can't remember what, I think it's like jade. And I have a mini palette that I'll show you later in this video. And I want to say this is my Winsor & Newton travel palette that I was playing with, trying to mix all the colors, seeing what I was bringing with me. Then, of course, start some mermaid sketches, which I absolutely love how big the sketchbook is. And this is the first year where I start printing out my prompts that I saw on Instagram. I screenshotted them and I edited them, like kind of cropped them, put them all on like a Word document or in Procreate and printed it. And I did the same with some inspiration images. And kudos to my printer at the time. I don't even know. I want to say it's the same printer I have now. And the quality on these pictures, I love this idea, and it's been super helpful to have the prompts with me each year. Like, just kind of when I've been doodling in my sketchbook to look back at what day it is and what prompts are coming up. I just like having that in my sketchbook, so I definitely recommend it. Then, of course, you see on my sketches at the end, per usual, I'll show you all the artwork that comes of this whole like sketchbook. But I had so much fun. If you recognize any of these, it's probably because you've seen it on Pinterest, perhaps. I utilize Pinterest so hard, so if you need to find me, I'm pretty sure it's Brie Creations on there too, but I use Procreate. I use Pinterest every year for Mermay, and I create a new board, and I just started editing my 2023 board after going through all of my previous boards. And oh my gosh, all the inspirational images I've saved before are crazy. And seeing where I was planning on taking some of these prompts, it was definitely interesting. I use a lot of these big pages too as swatches, so you'll see a lot of like random doodles. Then, of course, you see this is Pearl, the manatee, who I want to make a zine or zine, whatever you call it. I want to make a little comic of her. She wants to be a mermaid, and I have this big manatee stuffed animal that she's based off of. So, somebody remind me because I love drawing Pearl the manatee so much. She's just this lumpy, you know, sea cow mermaid. I love her. I love any manatee because I live in Florida now. Then I have a bunch of sticker ideas too that I've doodled throughout here that I want to actually take into Procreate and do. But I think I've done two or three mermaid stickers before that I have in a storage box. This is a mermaid draw this in your style challenge. I can't remember the artist at the time, and I want to say I even took and made this into a bigger piece. This was just my sketch that I ended up coloring at in my sketchbook. And I actually enjoy so much how this came out, but I was so frustrated because it was in my sketchbook and I wasn't tearing it out. So then I used a lot of the the your character here base kind of things you can find on Pinterest and on like DeviantArt. I saw a bunch of those, so I was trying to like practice poses with them. And oh my gosh, strawberry cat. That's so funny. A friend and I were just talking about strawberry cats. I have to remember to send her a photo now of that. Then I fell into the Posca hole and I started writing down all the colors that I really, really wanted. And of course, I have some watercolor doodles and the swatches of said Posca markers that I ended up getting, which it's only gotten worse since then because I absolutely adore paint markers. So once Mermaid finishes around this area, I love the details on this mermaid, and I want to say it became a bigger piece, and I wanted to redraw it this year. So this is me reminding myself now that I definitely want to redraw that piece because of the whole like shell bra is really intricate. So this is where it's kind of like swatches. I was building a skin color, like skin tone palette at the time, and here's me remembering that I mentioned to myself that I was supposed to show you the palette that I kept with myself. So this, funny enough, is made of a mint tin. And look, these are just the half pans I was carrying, and those are the colors that I got from him. So I was practicing with the whole magenta, yellow, and teal kind of thing, and that's the original kind of tin they're usually in. So I definitely love repurposing tins like this, and I will keep this in my pencil bag because it's such a useful little watercolor palette that definitely has colors I use all the time. So then I try to flip back and find where I was. So I ended up starting a bigger skin tone palette at the time, which is where this whole spread comes from, which I definitely like the ones that I've come up with so far. And then I was testing it out on the following page with some random sketch. I don't even know if this is like a sim of mine, and I feel like she was too. These are definitely sims at the time. I was drawing whatever sims were popping up with the outfits that I was enjoying dressing them up in, because that's, oh, of course, the sun washes out most of like the writing, but this is just more watercolor swatches and palettes that I keep with me. I use a lot of blank pages that I just come upon with like pen, and I just write to-do lists. So here's a really actually good hand spread, but I hate drawing hands, so you won't see me do that enough. Per usual, another swatch page, which it's just something that I end up doing. I love playing with my colors, and I want to say that's, I don't even remember what palette that is. It's an earthy tone palette. Then I ended up getting into Inktober stuff, so I hope you guys don't mind. This kind of delves into some Inktober planning stuff, which is why this ends up ending right at August, which makes sense now that I think of it. So here's my sketch of me. I think we were traveling to New York at the time, so I was planning out what I was going to have with my notebooks and stuff. So here's my Prismacolor swatch chart that I definitely want to rip out of my sketchbook now and keep with me because I love keeping my swatch charts with me, which that is a list of colors that I want to buy. Of course, I always have to have that, which and more lists of stuff I need to get in plans for Witchtober of that year, which I think I actually drew a lot of witches that year as far as I can remember. So more pen doodles. I enjoy ballpoint pen in any of these Canson XL like mixed media papers. Like it just handles pen so well, and I just, between the black ballpoint pen and the purple one I think I have, those are my top two sketching pens. Like I won't use microns. I will prefer like these ballpoint pens before. Look, and of course, the moment I mention my favorite purple pens, that's when I start that's when I start sketching my witches in it, of course. I think it's literally just like the clear barrel with a purple band around it. It's by Bic as far as I can remember. Of course, I'm so sorry the sun washed all of this out because the sun decided at the very end of the video to come in. But per usual, more swatches. This is most of my, I think my midline fine liner, like highlighter stuffs. I keep them, of course, how fitting, in this mermaid pouch that I keep with me with my erasable, I think they're pilot pens. They're erasable pilot pens, and highlighters as well, because I like those for my planners in case I make mistakes. Then I cut my hair and I wrote a bad word there, so that is where this ends. I don't use Sticker Mule anymore, but that's the last of that's the last time I probably bought from them as far as I can remember. And then I have a pen loop, which is always the most helpful to keep with me. But let me give you a quick close up of all the stickers. The painter's going to paint, of course, is mine and the little Pikachu. The rest, the middle one is Lee Ellickson, as far as I remember. I want to say, I can't even remember where the rest are from because I got a lot of Pokemon Patreons I was part of at the time. If I remember, I'll try to put them down below. Somebody hopefully remind me. But now we are delving into all the finished pieces, which I love. This Moon Mermaid, one of my faves. I think I redrew her actually holding up moonbeams at one point, and here's the start of my OC. If anybody has name ideas, please drop them in the comments because I draw her again the next year, you'll see. But she doesn't have a name. This one doesn't have a name. But they're definitely ones I redraw every year. So name suggestions galore, please. Here are my favorite bombs. This is, I forget their name. This is Hazel and Fresca, I think, from my Sims game that I love, and I love their colors. They just match so well. And oh my god, I love using Caliro, the Fine Tech metallic paints. So if you ever see any metallic details on any of these mermaids, it's most likely just the Caliro paints because they just add the best shimmer. Then, oh my gosh, this is my favorite piece. I actually have a sticker of this if anybody's interested. She's clear, So when you put her down, it's usually on white paper because you can see the watercolor texture that's behind her through that clear sticker. So I adore her, and I put her in my new sketchbook for myself even. So I love this piece. I love of course, the cleaver, like little metallic gold pieces. This one, I'm proud of myself for getting out of my comfort zone, but it didn't make sense overall to me. This is definitely referenced from a Pinterest photo that I think I saved again recently because I remember drawing it. Per usual, I always draw Ariel at least once because she's my favorite, and of course, the new movie comes out on my birthday this year. I'm so excited. More metallic watercolor, like, ugh, I just love adding shimmer. I can't help it. I feel like a piece can't be done until I add just something. Even if it's highlights, just shimmer, sparkles, I don't know what it is. I just want to do that. This one in general, she doesn't look like anything much, but if you turn her to the light, her whole like body and that sheet essentially over her is is literally iridescent because I got so many new colors. I remember that summer, just like this one. I remember it's like unicorn, rose, and lavender I used on her. And of course, after I got done with it, I remember mermaid, the actual color they came out with. Ugh, I was so mad. I wanted to use it so bad. Then I tried to draw a geisha mermaid, which I have a lot of really pretty references I want to do now that I can draw so much better. She deserves justification because she looked so much better in the photo that I referenced. Then, of course, if anybody's wondering why my watercolors look so crazy on this paper, it's because one, it's cotton watercolor paper, and I also was using ocean water. I went to the beach and gathered up a bunch of water in a jug and used it as my paint water with my watercolors that year. So between the cotton, I think it feels like cold pressed watercolor paper. If you're asking me, I'll probably have like a supply video coming up if anybody's interested. It'll probably be a short one. I typically stay to the same supplies, nothing crazy. So it's like B watercolor paper. It's very textured and like it takes very well. It doesn't buckle too hard. You can tell by like the way I like flip the paper. And then I also use this one is from a block of fluid cold press watercolor paper, and I have just blocks. So if they look like uniform squares like this, that's most likely what I use. So if anybody's interested in like a supply video, let me know and I will get on that. But oh my god, she's also a sticker and she has gold freckles and on her shoulders and her face. They look so, so pretty. And if anybody wants me to show the stickers too in the supply video, let me know because they are so cute. I am working on building my website, so hopefully I can create like a gallery so you can look at some of these soon. So you're not just like sitting here watching me flip through this. So fingers crossed for website building, and I can't wait for Mermay to start. So if anybody is not busy on Mondays, I'm hoping for Monday afternoon to be a streaming day. I'm hoping around 11, 12ish, I'll get on YouTube and do streams up until like 3:30, and then for the evening, I'll get on TikTok. So once I have a better idea, I will probably update you guys on here on a video or on a short. I'm still figuring it out, so wish me luck, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!